Hey guys, Daryl here with Tactical Existence. Today I'm going to be talking to James Yeager of Tactical Response. I'm sure most of you guys know him. We're up at Performance Edge in Lexington, Kentucky. He's got some of the crew here and they're doing some training. And we just wanted to ask you a few questions.
Absolutely. Glad to do it.
Great. The first thing I wanted to ask is, what I know you were former law enforcement, and what drove you to want to train civilians?
Well, I mean, I am a civilian.
Right,
right. People need training, and it's funny because the reason I became a cop in 1992, I was 22 years old. When I turned 21, I wanted to get a carry permit, and Tennessee didn't have carry permits. So the only way you could carry a gun in Tennessee back then was be a cop.
Right.
So I became a cop so I could be armed all the time. And so that's actually why I started. So there was never really any me trying to transition from law enforcement. I mean, cops are civilians, blah blah blah. But
right.
There was never anything for me transferring from. I'm going to teach civilians. Now I was always a civilian, and and I always taught civilians, and always competed with civilians. And so it was like the thought. There would never be a thought entering my mind saying I should not train civilians, like I should only train police. That's never entered my mind.
I guess the better question is, what drove you to want to train people, period?
Just in general?
Yeah.
Well, I started actually training folks in '94, just informally. And in '96, Tennessee finally passed carry permit. Right. I was policing during this time, and I started teaching carry permits because I like to teach, but also to supplement my police income. It's kind of like the old anti-drug commercial, the guy doing cocaine. He's sitting at a desk. He says, "I do cocaine so I can work longer hours,
right.
so I can make more money, so I can buy more cocaine." Well, it was kind of like that. I was teaching shooting so I could have money to buy bullets and go pay for the classes.
Right.
And it just grew. And there was this thing called the internet. You might have heard of it. And then in '98, I got online, and that was it. Like,
right.
It just took off.
Well, I've been following you for a while now, so I mean, obviously, I think what you do is very pertinent.
Thanks.
And I like the fact that you're not afraid to say what you feel and what you think. A lot of people are very toned back with their opinions, and
right.
I express my opinion, and if people don't like it, that's fine.
Right.
And you're kind of the same way. So,
well, I think the country is becoming tired of all this political correctness, saving everybody's feelings, and we don't even tell people how we feel personally, how we feel about things anymore, because we're afraid it might insult somebody else.
Right.
And maybe it's time to start insulting people.
Hey.
I agree
100%, man, definitely. But something else that I think is interesting that you do is you have a lot of classes for people to take that don't require ammunition, which, I mean, we all know ammo is still hard to get. I mean, it's not everywhere, and the prices have been jacked up by gougers and just panic. So I think it's very cool that you have those classes, like the medical classes. Like you, I do some basic handgun training, handling, and I teach CCW classes. And that's one of my biggest emphasis is now you have the gun, learn to use it.
Right.
I tell them in my class, this CCW class is not training. It's
licensing, right?
Right. This allows you to carry this gun, but you still don't know how to use it.
Well, the problem is that most people, especially most men, think they're born knowing how to shoot anyway.
It's true.
And that somehow, because they hunted or something like that, that makes them like able to defend themselves. And it's just not true.
Well, you actually hit on a point also that I mention a lot. Women, in my experience, are better shooters.
they're certainly better students.
Yeah, they're more.
Men have their ego invested in it.
Right.
I'm born knowing how to shoot, drive, fight, and fornicate, and all that stuff.
Right.
And nobody can tell me anything, and blah blah blah.
Right.
And it's like an insult to somebody's manlyhood if you try to give them a suggestion.
I agree 100%. So can you talk about some of the classes that you offer that do not require ammo? And I know that you now have where students can come sit in your classes and not actually participate in the shooting aspect if they can't afford the ammo or whatever.
We really want to encourage people to participate, but if there were somebody that couldn't and they couldn't afford the ammo, we'll make a concession for them. But in general, there are 3 classes that I tell people to take from me. If you take one, take fighting pistol. That's 1,000 rounds of ammo. People usually shoot about 750, but we tell them to bring 1,000. Now the other two classes, there's no shooting. Immediate action medical, we're taking care of immediate like bleeding and stuff somebody's going to die from, like a gunshot wound or a stabbing or something like that. So no ammunition required for that. And then our force on force classes, like the fight, where that is we use Glock ammunition guns, FX guns to shoot little paintballs, but it's a real gun that won't fire live ammunition. And we put people in scenarios like home invasions and bank robberies and carjackings and stuff like that, and they have to figure their way out. Not shoot their way out, they got to figure their way out of the problems. And so out of the 3 classes that no matter, before the ammo crunch, 3 classes I told everybody to take, 2 of them didn't require live ammo.
Have you noticed a big influx in students in those classes since the whole rise?
Nope, because it's not sexy. And what I mean by that, most of the time when guys come to a class, it's like show and tell. They're showing off their gun, their rifle, their rig, you know. But when you come to a class like that, you're not bringing anything with you. You're using our guns. You know, you don't get to show your big shiny new gun. And also, when you take a force on force class, the bullets come this way. That means you're risking. That means you're risking ego, and it takes a very special person, very special man, to risk his ego. Most won't do it.
Right. That's true. I mean, I do some training with the local police department in, you know, my area, and I've been their shooting dummy a few times for the SWAT team. And it's hard to sit there and, you know, be the guy that gets nabbed by this. So I do understand that. And I know you all have recently just moved tactical response to a new home center, I guess. How are things going? Is there anything new?
It's great.
Coming for
it's great, and it's hard for me to do new stuff when I'm so busy doing the stuff I'm already doing. I just came back from pistol class. We had 36 in the pistol class and 20 something in the rifle class, and things are just gangbusters right now. I'm treading water. There's no additions coming along.
This was the class in Pennsylvania.
And
if you all are interested in taking the class with James, of course, go to his website, Tactical Response, and getoffthex.com as well.
Tacticalresponse.com has our full schedule and our mailing list, because we send out new classes all the time. And people say, I didn't know you were coming here.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You know, everybody's like, when you coming here, when you coming there. He's probably been there or he's coming there. So
we travel all over.
Have a look.
Yeah, we travel all over the country, and it's amazing. I'll put a picture or make a comment about having been, like, for instance, I was just in Pennsylvania, so I'll get back and I'll put, hey, thanks Pennsylvania for the class or whatever, and then somebody go, oh, that's 5 minutes from my house. I had no idea you were coming, even though for the last month I've been posting, I'm going to Pennsylvania. You know.
Well, you know, I follow you on Facebook too. That's how I knew that James was going to be here in Lexington today. So if you're not following him on Facebook, do that as well. But you know, that's really all the questions I had. You know, I appreciate you coming out and doing the interview. And
my pleasure.
One last thing. Your responsibilities, stay ready for the
fight never ends.
Thanks, everybody.
Good job, man.
Appreciate it.